Alright, we are back. Since y'all wanted another tutorial so bad with the recent support on our last video, it's just going crazy right now. Totally. Anyways, let's just hop right into this. I'm going to be teaching you guys this quick zoom in transition for your advertisements or whatever you want to copy this transition to. I think it's a great transition. I'm going to stop wasting your time. Let's go. Alright, so for the transition, what you're going to start off doing is you're going to mask out your object, whether that is the can or whatever you are using. And I'm just going to basically mask out this object and nest it, so therefore it is just this still image of what I masked out. And that'll be the first part of this transition. Make sure you mask it pretty nice though. Alright, so for the next part of this transition, after you had nested that image, you are going to keyframe that still image. You could go ahead and open the transform properties under your clip and hit that little time watch for the position and scale. And you're just going to make it zoom towards the camera. So you're going to scale it up and position it towards your camera for it to go out of frame, whichever direction. I chose right because it's more convenient for my scene. Or you could just have it go straight down as well. I kind of did like a mix, like right and straight down. But yeah, this is going to basically make the can go towards your shot, and you're probably thinking this is going to look very, very bad. But we're going to get into that. We're just going to add more things, so sit tight. Alright, so after you have done that, I kind of forgot to tell you guys, but you should have a second shot set up where it is your object facing at a certain angle for the first shot, and then for the second shot, your object is facing towards the camera. And for my shot in specific, I have the can looking a little more to the right, and then it cuts to the other shot where it is facing more towards the front and it is going over the can. So that is how I'm setting up the transition so smoothly. You guys might as well just copy that same thing if you want it to look good. Alright, but basically when you have the still image can zoom into the camera, it will collide with the other shot in which they will match perfectly. So you have the can zoom in, and then you have the other shot of the can facing towards the camera, and it will do a seamless transition. Alright, so once you have created the still image, you have keyframes it to come towards the camera, and you have positioned your two shots. I had basically made a adjustment layer, and I added a transform effect onto that adjustment layer, and then I keyframed the position and scale to zoom in to line up all three of these things that are happening. It is kind of hard to explain. However, I position and scale it so they are all centered within the frame. Because if you think about it, you want the can to look like it is turning very quickly and it is staying in the same spot. You don't want it to be unaligned. So you want to line up the cans, all three of them, within your shot. So you want the can that is facing to the right in the same area as the can that is zooming into the frame, in the same area as the second can's shot. So everything will kind of smoothly transition through itself. So after you have created that transition, you basically want to set up the second part of the transition. It's like the part 2. So you want to rotoscope out the can to set up the background. After you rotoscope out the object in your scene, you want to duplicate the clip and delete the rotoscope on the bottom clip. That just means that your object that you cut out will be isolated, and the clip beneath will not have a rotoscope. So then you could start stacking effects behind the object that you cut out. Right here that I'm just messing around with all the effects on the bottom layer. I am just basically stacking everything and just seeing if it looks nice. I'll add a twirl. Okay, that doesn't look good. I'll add different distortion effects and see whether it looks good. I'll even add like a bulge effect and even color effects to manipulate the colors of the effects that I'm putting on the background. Just basically testing different things out. After all that testing, I realized that my rotoscope was a little choppy, so I went in and cleaned it up. Alrighty, so for more an in-depth look of the transition of the cutout of the can, you can see that I add that transform effect on the still image here. This is after I masked it out and then pre-composed the clip. Therefore, it is just the still image, like I previously said. But you could just see me adjusting the position and the scale here with the transform effect. And what you want to do to get a nice motion blur is you want to take off the composition's shutter angle, and you want to bump up that shutter angle as much as you want or need. Preferably, I'd say 140 to 200 is some good motion blur. However, the more you add, the more blurry it's going to be in motion. And then you could just see me positioning and scaling up that image out of frame. And you could just see me getting it closer to the camera right there. And as you can see, it sets it up very perfectly for my second shot here. So it's an overlay over the second shot. And when you play that through, the image will pop up and over, and it'll transition into the second shot, creating for like not too smooth of a transition, but it sells it. Alright, and for the background transition, you could see that I have the bulge effect and the offset effect on, but everything else off. So for the bulge effect, I basically just scale it up as it is zooming in with the keyframes that I made earlier. It will scale up the bulge and make it more warpy. And then with the offset, it basically just makes that can look like there is multiple versions of itself. It is kind of like a trippy, blurry look, and that is what I'm going for. Alright, so after that, you could see that I have this colorama effect in here. So you want to just toss this in here, and we're going to keyframe the opacity, basically, of this colorama effect. Personally, I switched it to alpha, which is just black and white. And it gives off like a flash type of transition. So once you add that in there, you can see that I tried the green as well, but the green just did not look as nice to me as the white did behind the can. So I ended up going with the white. You could also adjust the levers here to make it darker, lighter, just different looks for your interests, I guess. You don't have to completely copy this effect exactly how I made it. You could add your own twists and changes. But basically, you could see here that there is the end with original, and I have the keyframe watch on for that. So basically, I'm going to turn that all the way up to 100% within the zoom in of the still image. So once that still image gets close to the camera, it'll be at 100% and the entire background will be white. And then I will keyframe it so it slowly fades out to 0% after the can has already transitioned. So it'll basically make the entire screen go white until the next shot. Alright, for some finishing touches after I rendered it in Premiere and realized, oh shit, we should add some finishing touches. I went into After Effects and I just added a simple glow to just give it that better look. I think I might have also added a glow on the inside of the can. I don't know, I'll show you the settings on screen. But that basically sums up that entire transition. And I'm adding the glow to the still image, of course, because that is the image that is coming towards the camera to set up the second shot. So that is the entire transition breakdown. If you guys enjoyed this, let me know, and I'll make more in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all again soon.